What's up everyone, it's Agent Juicy here today and I'm going to be doing the review of the Blackberry Q10 smartphone. I've been using this phone for 2 weeks now or 14 days, whichever you guys prefer, so I do hope you guys do enjoy this video. Design and build quality. The Blackberry Q10 is a stunning piece of industrial design. This came from a single piece of stainless steel. The phone feels quite hefty and solid in the palm of the hand, which isn't felt in a lot of newer devices such as the S4. The removable back cover is constructed from woven glass, which has the appearance of carbon fiber. And the back of the device is covered with an oleophobic resin, which helps to repel fingerprints. This technology, the resin, is also seen on the iPad. At the front of the device, what we do have here is a 720 by 720p display. The colors are quite accurately displayed, the pictures are quite sharp, and you get really amazing viewing angles. Less grease was collected when compared to the Z10 on the front of the display. The backing carbon fiber helps to keep the device nice and lightweight, however very durable to drops and falls that it may occur. The locations of the buttons and ports are quite simply placed for the most practical use. What I mean is, when the HDMI plugs in, the HDMI cord will run this way. However, the cord never comes in front of this actual screen. The keyboard is amazing and quite impressive, which we'll talk about later in this review. The way the device sits in the palm of your hand is quite comfortable and seems natural, and it's very practical. Your hand does not block the camera lens at all when it's just sitting there. Your pinky finger just sits at the base of the phone, like this. It never blocks off the speaker. This design was quite simple, but very effective. One of the best I've ever seen out of Blackberry. The placement of the speaker at the bottom of the phone right here is a great placement, because it never gets in the way of your little finger, nor when you place it on the table, it never gets blocked off. At the top of the device, what we do have here, it's a standby pause button, or whatever you want to call it, and it's nicely placed for the right-handed user and the left-handed user. It's very in the middle, but very nice. I give the design and build quality 9 out of 10. The reason I gave it that is at the back of the device, the carbon fiber looks a little aged. The earpiece speaker should have been raised and chromed, like the S4, which would give it a much more prominent appearance. Around the perimeter of the screen right here, it's sunken, and this sunken creates the collection of dust and fibers really easy. I'm not a big fan of the sunken screen. I would have preferred a roll edge screen like this, for my fingers just to easily glide off of it. However, that's why it got 9 out of 10 for the design and build quality. Hardware. I'm not going to go into what the specs are. That was shown in a couple other videos. But the hardware is slightly aged and subpar for the current market features of where it is right now compared to like other devices such as the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the Samsung Galaxy the Nexus 4 and stuff like that, which all has quad-core. It's about 8 months old on the market, and it's quite compelling at the same time, and it gets the job done. However, it's generally a nice device all around, and it has a 2 gigs of RAM on board, which definitely makes it good for the future. And it has dual core, which is a bit 2011, 2012, but it's totally fine. The removal of the call and the end track button that was seen in previous models like this, that was straight across, has been removed to give the screen a bigger and nicer appearance. That being said though, it definitely took this appearance, which was like 2001, to definitely 2012, 2013. The device to switch over from the trackball or the trackpad to no trackpad was almost quite easy to adapt to, and it's a great job on their part. Features like the camera, the quad core, should have been better on this device to make it more compatible for people who go on a 3-year contract with this phone. My review on this part is 8 out of 10 for the hardware. So for the next section or category, we have hardware. The hardware is slightly aged and subpar for the current market. The processors are about 8 months old. But the operating system definitely does a great job at keeping it very modern and very easy to use. Tasks when you throw at it seems almost seamlessly. The 2 GB of RAM on board definitely keeps the device on par for future updates and to keep running smoothly. The dual processors on board, however, feels a bit 2010-2011. The removal of the call, Blackberry button, trackball, back and end button increases the size of the space on this device. This, what they got rid of, gets the device from a 2001 feel to a more modern 2013 feel. The switch over from a trackball to no trackball was almost seamlessly and quite easily to adapt to. It took me less than an hour. Great job on that part, Blackberry. On this review, I give it 8 out of 10. And the reason I say that is because the camera should have had a better processor. It should have had quad core, and this device, that would have made this device more viable for 3 years into the future. That being said, that's my review on the hardware. If you wanted to know about gaming on the Blackberry Q10 and the hardware, how it operates, look at my other video. On the Blackberry Q10 for software section now, the software is identical to the Z10. It's just modified for a 1:1 ratio, as we said, 720x720 before. And the keyboard just modified for keyboard multitasking and stuff like that. Nothing is new or impressive or has changed to it. Most third-party apps are in the process of being converted to fit the 1:1 ratio that we spoke about just previously. The multitasking is the best on the market on any smartphone that I've ever used before. However, I would have preferred to have some live tiles, and these live tiles, same way how BBM has the live tiles, as we can see right here, it should be carried forward in all applications in the future, like how the BBM constantly updates. Twitter and stuff like that should have that as well, but it doesn't. That's totally up to developers to do that. They need to address this within 30 days for even a better experience, and many shortcuts such as like when you're in BBM message and you type T to go to the top of the conversation, it just usually shows right up right there. They have a lot more shorter features. Check my other video out about that, such as press C to get the call, and you could call anyone that you want. Apps are there that I use mostly, like WhatsApp, Viber, and Skype are the main apps that I use with BBM, and it's all there. They have a wide variety in the App Store. They should consider bringing Google Maps, Google Chrome, Google Now on the phone. One unique feature of the Blackberry 10 on the Q10 is in the BBM application. In the chats, it all shows up as black. It has a blackened theme, which is pretty nice, and it's only specifically played out for the Blackberry Q10. It looks quite sexy and quite pretty. I give it 8 out of 10. The live tiles and more apps are needed in the App Store. So the next category or section is the camera. So for the camera, we have an 8 megapixel rear facing and a 2 megapixel front facing camera. On the rear facing camera, it's one of the best quality cameras that I've ever seen on a Blackberry so far. It's better than the Z10 and it takes really good pictures. And the reproduction on Facebook and stuff like that when you're sharing is really good on other devices. You get quite a lot of detail, such as if you're taking a picture of this, which is a National Geographic magazine, you just drag to focus, and then you tap to focus, and then you could simply read off whatever was written there. I don't know if you guys could see that. That is not possible with the Nexus 4, and I held this roughly 30 centimeters or 1 foot away from the camera to the wall. That's how much space is between there, maybe even a little more. But just to say for 1 foot. There are many ways to open up the camera features. One of the ways is by swiping up and just tapping this button right there, or selecting the camera app, or if you're locked out of the screen, let's say like this, you just hold this down and it usually pops right up. Well, that opens a lot faster than the actual Z10. There are many shooting modes in the phone, like regular camera mode, video recording mode, and a FaceTime feature. That's iconic to BlackBerry now. There are many shooting modes such as normal, stabilization, burst, HDR. HDR is in 10.1 and the newest update from that's available on the Q10, the Z10. There are other features such as action, whiteboard, night, beach, and snow. Flash on, and then you have different aspect ratios that you could shoot at. That being said though, I would have loved to see a higher or a better camera sensor on the phone for taking pictures, and the reason that I say that is because it does not compete with phones like the iPhone 5 or the Samsung Galaxy S4 or HTC One. However, it does take a lot of, it takes really good pictures, especially with detail. So if you take a picture here, you could actually zoom in and the detail is really well. See my full review on pictures that I posted. Hopefully you guys could like that, and I'll put up a little annotation right here. That being said, I give the camera 8 out of 10. They lost 2 marks, basically, for the camera senses. At the front of the camera, I must say one thing though, it's a 2 megapixel 720p shooter, and the faces and stuff like that on Skype looks a lot darker than it actually is. I assume that's because of the coating that's on the front of the camera. So that's it for the camera category, and now we go on to... Hey guys, so at the front of the device we have a super AMOLED screen, which is beautiful for displaying pictures and rendering web pages and stuff like that. It's also a touchscreen which is quite responsive, and there are many shortcuts at the bottom here to flick through very rapidly. In terms of practicality, you could use this device with just your thumb. The screen feels a bit cramped when gaming and stuff like that, which it's due to its 1:1 720 by 720p ratio. When it's especially feels weird when you're playing a game that you're so used to a larger screen. But for the operating system, it is gesture based, and it's well adapted and nicely optimized for the screen resolution that the phone has. The brightness setting on the display is not as bright as expected for an OLED, and you can see like I turned the brightness up all the way, and it still looks really, you won't see it on the camera, but at the nighttime you actually see it looks a little blue compared to the Z10, which looks pale yellow. However, it's still magnificent when you're watching a picture of Kate Upton. That being said, I give the BlackBerry screen 9.5 out of 10. It lost 0.5 marks just for the blue screen, which is not as bright as I expected for a AMOLED. So guys, for the next category we have the keyboard itself. This is definitely the selling and the wow factor of this device, and this is definitely what's going to move a lot of BlackBerry 10 units. Your fingertips has been craving for this magnificent feeling when you're typing. The BlackBerry has definitely answered what the market was asking for. The keyboard is definitely the wow factor, and it's simply the best hardware keyboard that was ever designed. Each key is something like 15% larger in surface area compared to the Bowl 9900. It gives you very tactile feedback with a perfect balance of rigidity and comfort. It is larger in size when compared to the BlackBerry Bold, like the overall phone size. It will take some time to adapt because it's slightly thicker, and you could actually feel, when you're typing with 2 fingers, you could actually feel the difference. That being said though, it has definitely a nice throw, like when you press on the keys, it definitely feels really nice on the thumbs. For the keyboard, I give it a 10 out of 10. So for the next portion of this review, we're going to be looking at the battery life on the Blackberry Q10. And first off, let's just get this out of the way. The battery pack that we do have here is the NX1, which rocks out 2100 milliamperes on board, which is great for the QWERTY touch device, as in my palm of my hands right here. It's quite clear that a physical keyboard to type versus a keyboard that actually pops up, such as the Google Nexus 4 and stuff like that, basically drains the battery down a lot more. This has an OLED display which uses 20 to 30% less battery life than the actual regular LCD screen. So keep that in mind for like your next television set that you may be buying. This was not the case for the Q10. It definitely outperformed. I got about 38 hours of standby time on the phone, which is basically running Skype and Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and browsing the web, browsing and downloading apps and stuff like that, playing apps as well. I managed to still even get 38 hours just off it on standby. So for my next section, what I did was basically the charge time. How long did it take for the phone to actually charge from 0 to like 100? So from 0 to 50% of recharge, it took me 50 minutes. From 0 to 75%, it took me 1 hour and 30 minutes. And from 0 to 100, it took me about 2 hours and 5 minutes. The runtime throughout my day was usually, the way how my battery was spent every day is basically from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. when I usually get home, which is about 16 hours. And I still managed to have about 23% of the battery life on my phone. My day usually goes like this, and I'll give you a breakdown. 10 to 30 minutes of phone calls, depending on if my grandmother calls me. Probably an hour or so of non-stop BBMing and stuff like that with my friends. 20 minutes of visiting websites such as Gizmodo, Engadget, and all that stuff. I'm not marketing for them, by the way. 40 minutes of WhatsApp, 10 minutes of like quick Skyping with my mom. At the end of it all, I still managed to have 23 to 24% of battery life, like I said, which is quite unreal for a device of this stature. At 10% of the battery, first off, what you're going to see right here, it's going to turn red, and then you're going to see the LED notification, which is like a yellow amber color that turns on. I wish I could have gotten it for this video, but it doesn't seem to go down as fast as I wanted it to. One other thing that I would actually like, some things that I would actually like to see on this phone, it's something like a battery management software. What I mean by battery management software, it's something that you want to see how your battery on every day, like how Android breaks it down for you. Your screen uses 57% of the battery and all that stuff. I'd actually want to see how that looks. On top of that, what I would actually like to see is some sort of ability to adjust, not in the email settings, but on the surface of the BlackBerry in front of the user interface, maybe under settings or something like that, where you could basically manipulate how you want the battery to be spent and stuff like that. I'm not talking about screen and stuff management, but a quick way to do all that stuff right there, and manipulate the emails. What else I would actually like to see on this device? This device is actually quite larger, well, than a 9900, as we all know. One thing I would actually want to see, though, since it's a larger, maybe we could stick in like 2500 or maybe even 3000 milliampere battery pack in this, just to get like 2 to 3 days maybe going without a charge. I was able, for the weekends, I barely use my phone, so I was able to go from a full charge on when I plugged it in on Friday to right now, which basically has, I believe, I'll quickly get this information for you guys. So I think it's about 85%, which is really impressive, to be honest with you. And right now it's actually 80%. I don't know if you guys can see that. 80% right there. So also another thing that I would actually like to see on this device, it's something like a wireless charging. For my 9700, I had this, which is basically a rapid charging dock. You stick it in, you plug it in, it basically charges your phone, and it charges a lot faster than actually plugging the device right here. I'd actually like to see that. They had it on the 9900, but they left it out on this device. So there's absolutely no wireless or inductive charging capabilities on this phone, nor are they any rapid charging features. Maybe you could get a rapid charging plug, but like on the playbook, which I'll show. I don't have my playbook on me, but basically in the playbook there's 3 pins right there, and you could basically stick it in and charge it. So that's it for the battery life. On performance, I'd give this phone, the battery life on the phone, 9.5. 0.5 was lost to basically no management features and basically absolutely no wireless charging. But wireless charging is neither here, neither there. It's totally normal. So thank you for watching the battery spec. So in conclusion, some other things that I'd like to say about this phone. It's Skype is always on in the background, similar to the Android application that I showed you guys. And the thing about the Skype app, one time I was in class and I actually got called and you heard everything. If this is even turned down, you're still going to hear the Skype application being called, so be sure to check that in the profile settings under notifications and stuff like that and switch that out to very silent. The Blackberry map application often sends you in the wrong location, and it's not very reliable, so it needs a lot of work to be done to it. So I definitely recommend you use a third-party application if possible, or something else. I was trying to get to the hospital, and it sent me to a Jewish community, somewhat hospital, which basically does not open 24/7. So be very careful about that stuff, because you don't want to, especially in an emergency, you don't want to be sent to the wrong place. The BlackBerry Bridge application on the playbook does not work very well, and you'll see that in my video with some more details. It's basically about scrolling through the web pages and stuff like that. The ship memory in the phone is around 11.1, so it uses up about 5 gigabytes of data. In the Nexus 4 that I have here, which is at 8 gigabyte, it uses 3 to 4 gigs of space, and I have about 4 gigs of free memory plus the Google Drive. I'd actually love to see some Google features such as Google Drive, Google Now, all of those nice stuff that Google has put out, and especially Google Maps. I can't emphasize that enough. I want to see more apps that are well built for the 1:1 ratio or the 720 by 720 pixels, such as running a crowd and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe BlackBerry could do like a refresh of their app store and look over all their apps and see how it looks. And this is what Google Now looks like, by the way. You can basically see all the updates and stuff like that. Also as well, I want to see a larger battery capacity, something like 2500, maybe even 3000. The device is larger than the 9900, so it's definitely possible to fit a larger battery size in there. In conclusion, a couple of things that I want to let you guys know. The cost of this phone right here, it's $650. The cost of my 9700 at the time I paid it, when it now released, was about $550. One thing I must say, with all the 9000 series, such as the 9900, the 9700, 9800, no, the 9780, they all shipped with a lovely, beautiful leather case like this. And this phone costs about, let's say, even $550, you know? And, you know, you don't get a leather case with this, and this really, it ticked me off a lot, actually. You're spending so much for a phone. I want to get a case with my phone. I want to even get a screen protector for my phone, because if this doesn't have Gorilla Glass, I want to be able to know that my investment, which is basically $650, which is a lot of money, being secured and safely managed. You know, like with something like this, I'm pretty sure if, you know, you produce this at scale, you'd probably get this down to like probably 15 cents, you know, maybe even a little more, maybe even $1 more, right? But it definitely worth it to the customer, you know, to have something as beautiful as that to market as well. Wireless charging and rapid charging, like I show you in a 9700, is there, and it also has these rapid charging contact ports. But it isn't here on this phone. It doesn't even have induction charging. So we want to see some stuff like that. We want to also see some better management features, such as battery management, email management, some brightness management. And I'm not talking about settings. I'm talking about you swipe down on the screen, you have one, or you could swipe down with both of them, and you have better management options that you could quickly tap on, that you could customize, basically. One more thing that I do want to say, it's the BlackBerry Balance. The BlackBerry Balance, you guys could Google this. It's basically you use your 2 fingers, you pull down, and you get the option between work and personal. To me, I would love to separate my life from work and personal, so it doesn't get into lap, basically. And the reason I say that they should open this up for all the consumers is because the more you market your software, BlackBerry, is the better and more customers are going to be attracted to the products you actually have. In one of my videos that I made about a couple of years ago, I told them about the BlackBerry Voice, or VoIP. They should bring it to BBM. And you know what? 2 years after, they actually did it. And look, there's a lot of customers now who actually love that feature. So BlackBerry, my advice to you is stop with the whole enterprise idea that you're pushing. It's really good. That's where you make your money and stuff like that. But, you know, open up for other regular customers like us as well. So, in conclusion, this is Agent Juicy. Don't forget to hit the like button on my video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the favorite button. Share my videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. This was a great opportunity to make such a nice video. I hope you guys do appreciate it. It took me about 2 weeks to get all the filming and all the stuff down. So, Agent Juicy, I'm out.